If work on your creative projects is beginning to feel like it's painfully slow, do not worry. It's not a sign that you are falling behind. It is not a sign that your creative projects are destined to fail. It's just a sign that there is a creative process step that you need to attend to before you reach completion. By the end of this video, you will see what I mean by that. I'm Dr. Alan Johnson, and on the Art of Creative Practice, I talk about the mind, well-being, productivity, and change for thinkers, makers, and everyone in between. And in this video, I'm going to break this topic down to a few parts. First of all, I'm going to talk about why creative progress feels really slow in the first place. I then want to talk about some of the sort of hidden ways that we actually do continue to make progress toward our projects, even when it seems like we aren't. And then finally, how we can recalibrate our sense of progress so that we feel like we're making progress when we are actually making progress. Because that's the point of this video, that there is a mismatch between our sense of what progress looks like and our sense of what progress feels like. That if we feel like we're not making progress toward our creative goals, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are not actually doing that. If this is the type of stuff that resonates with you, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll pop some links down below as well to the free online community where I run weekly co-working sessions for creatives and facilitate a really, really fantastic group of creatives from all different backgrounds, disciplines, and genres. I look forward to seeing all of you there. Creative work, whether it is writing or art or music or dance or design or content creation, it has a really unusual relationship to time. And you know exactly what I mean by this. When we are in it, it can feel really painfully slow. We sit down, we work, and at the end of the day, we look up and it feels like not much has happened, like we haven't made any progress at all. It doesn't mean that we haven't actually made progress. It just means that we are still inside the process. We are too close to that creative work to perceive change properly. It's kind of a bit like watching the hour hand on a clock. Yeah, if you stare at it, it doesn't seem to move at all. But if you come back and look at the clock a little bit later, you notice that something has clearly changed. Creative progress is often like that. It can feel imperceptible in the moment, but incredibly obvious in retrospect. So what we're aiming to do in this video is find ways to join that up. How can our perception better match the reality? Because progress in any creative project is, of course, non-linear. Yeah, we tend to imagine progress in the rest of our lives as something that is steady and incremental, that we do a little bit and then a little bit and a little bit, and it gets a little bit better every day, and then suddenly magically it's done. Now, that might be true for many things in our lives, but creative development doesn't work like that. Our creative process is uneven. We might spend long periods of time circling around an idea or experimenting or repeating ourselves or making things even worse. But then there's also those moments where something just seems to click, as if by magic, a connection forms, a artistic decision becomes clear and obvious, and those pieces begin to come together. And that moment depends on everything that came before, even if those moments that came before felt like failure or stagnation or block. So when it feels slow, it's often because we are in that accumulation phase. We're not yet in the visible breakthrough phase of the project. And I'm really curious, where does progress feel slow for you right now? Is it in the writing or the research or the layout or the ideation or the production or something else? Drop it in the comments below. Sometimes being specific about where you feel stuck is the first shift into making some really significant change there. Because most people, most creatives in particular, measure progress by output. We ask ourselves, and of course, I'm a writer by both inclination and profession, so I know this all too well. That we ask ourselves, how much did I produce? Is it finished yet? Is it ready yet? But creative work is built, more importantly, on invisible progress, on our taste, refining, our judgment, sharpening, on our ability to see what's not working, becoming more precise. And ironically, sometimes the better that we get at our craft, the slower the progress can feel because our standards are rising at the same time. So here's this gap. Your ability to see excellence in your creative work improves faster than your ability to produce it. And that gap can sometimes feel like failure to us. But of course, that's just development, and that is part of the process. We also underestimate how long things take because we only see the compressed version of other people's works. Even a giant, 250,000 word novel that maybe took 10 years for someone to write, we see it. We're able to hold it in our hands. We see the finished article, that polished video, that final piece. What we don't see is other people's drafts. We don't see the false starts, the abandoned ideas, the weeks where nothing quite worked. So we ultimately then compare our creative process to someone else's compressed outcome. We think that we are somehow magically meant to produce the novel, produce the painting, produce the ballet. And of course, if we expect that, it feels like we are moving painfully slow. But we aren't comparing like with like in that situation. We are comparing process to product. Because all creatives' process is almost entirely invisible. That's part of the magic of creativity, that we go through a process of ideation and incubation and production to produce something that is new, sometimes even visionary, that hasn't been seen or thought of in that way before. The way that we get there isn't entirely documented. Sometimes it is completely invisible and unseen. But what do we do with all of this? Well, we change the unit of measure. Instead of asking ourselves, what did I finish? We ask, did I return to the work? Progress becomes more about continuity rather than completion. Did you show up? Did you stay with that problem a little bit longer? Did you make one small decision that moved things forward? If you track that, and if you track that consistently, you start to see things very, very differently. You see that the work is moving. You see that you are moving. And over time, those small returns really begin to compound in ways that are hard to predict, but are very, very real. If you zoom out far enough, creative progress is also almost never as slow as it feels in the moment. Let's do a little thought experiment here. Think back a year, think back 2 years. What you can do now, what you can see now, what you can care about now, it's shifted more than you probably realize, but we rarely give ourselves that perspective because we're so focused on what is next. There's something really important in learning to recognize progress while you're still in it, not just afterwards. And that is part of the art of creative practice. If this was useful, I'm going to link another video above that's going to help you as well, that helps to continue build your sustainable creative practice. And if you want to work alongside others in the sometimes very isolating world of creativity, join one of our co-working sessions and workshops, and I look forward to meeting all of you there. I'll see you next time.